In this video, we'll talk about the latest 3D printed space habitat prototype that's just big enough to fit in a SpaceX shuttle. Well, 'tis the year of space breakthroughs, with James Webb taking the lead, and now SpaceX working on the wildest technological breakthroughs. Since Elon Musk is hell-bent on making Mars the new Beverly Hills, we'll hear every now and then about how they're trying to rack in the most advanced tech to hit a home run with SpaceX. First up, people in awe over a wild 3D printed space habitat prototype. NASA must have thought about the cost and debris left after a shuttle launch and wanted to go for a rocket that could land back, but they might have lacked Elon's wit and billionaire charm to make this long-standing theory work. Fast forward to 2022, SpaceX is breaking ground with its aerospace technology, and it has inspired millions across the globe to be a part of the next generation of space exploration. Recently, a boarding school in Switzerland thought it would be a wild idea to put exceptional extraterrestrial architecture as part of summer homework. Well, the kids took it seriously, and now we have a 7.01 meter tall 3D building that was designed with SpaceX in mind. How long will astronomers sit in their stations and simply gaze upon the vast darkness of the universe? They didn't make sci-fi movies about space travel and wormholes for nothing, right? There's this idea in the back of everyone's head that one day the human legacy will reach far beyond Earth's ozone layer, probably to Mars and the Moon, and that there'll be a human colony in space. For that purpose, scientists need to work on building structures if they want human colonies to thrive on other planets. So students aged between 6 and 18, along with the faculty at the Institute auf dem Rosenberg, thought, why shouldn't we start working on this problem today? And so began the work for building the Rosenberg Space Habitat. The state-of-the-art space habitat is an exclusive collaboration between Rosenberg and Saga Space Architects, which is a Danish architecture firm. The founder of Saga, Sebastian Frederiksson, told the press that together they developed initial sketches and built the fully functional habitat in just months, which is a record time. But the entire process from paper models to the build took 2 years collectively and will serve as a habitat with immersed learning modules for passionate students. Up next, the tallest 3D printed building can fit perfectly inside a Starship. A Swiss boarding school and a renowned Danish architecture firm built the world's tallest 3D building, unveiled at Apollo 11 moon landing's 53rd anniversary. When Neil Armstrong said, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," he wasn't kidding. It's been phenomenal the way the world has evolved around that one step into developing technology that can one day allow us to live outside of the Earth. With that in mind, these kids at Rosenberg designed the 3-story building that could actually fit inside the shell of SpaceX's Mars-bound Starship. Even though the Starship is scheduled to launch for the first time this summer, the habitat will unfortunately not be featured in the shuttle yet. As for this space habitat, the Director General of Rosenberg stated that it would aim to provide future leaders and researchers and early exposure to advanced space exploration. Students can use this habitat to immerse themselves in solving complex questions from a holistic and collaborative point of view. The Rosenberg Space Habitat had its outer shell 3D printed by a partner company named Komatsu from Milan, while the space station-like interior was all thanks to Ingersoll from Copenhagen. The habitat can be considered as a laboratory that would give hands-on experience to young students where they can learn about life on other planets and how to travel to them. One of the best things about the habitat is not only its wild structure, but what comes inside as well. The Rosenberg Space Habitat features a Boston Dynamics robot dog, while each floor is dedicated to different purposes. The first floor hosts a lab space and a workshop, while the second floor is for recreation purposes, and the third for rest. The 3D structure is fit for a 2-person crew who can study the impact of extraterrestrial life on humans and experiment in the habitat, including working with modules focused on the role of sensory stimulation in remote environments. Sounds too intense for students, but have you seen how these kids are these days? And kids back in our days were happy with mixing vinegar and baking soda in a volcano. The robot dog will help students in learning, while the students can also change up the workspace by moving the modular furniture. Since figuring out how humans can survive in a hostile environment is all the rage these days, the habitat's construction itself is a contribution towards the goal of studying off-world settlements. Take the construction's material, for example. The habitat has been 3D printed using a polymer that offers the versatility needed for such a structure. The material will also prove to be more durable against high UV radiation on Mars or the Moon, as it features a UV stabilizer. It's truly a great step towards inspiring future generations to think outside of the box. And who knows, today's concept can be tomorrow's most celebrated invention. Coming up, dark clouds loom over SpaceX Starship during testing. There's still time for SpaceX to actually start exploration missions. Elon Musk is a modern-day Tony Stark who would just love to travel to the edge of time and bring his idea to fruition. But the billionaire's plans suffered a major setback as the Starship program ended up in flames on the day of testing. No, thankfully the entire rocket did not explode. Only the prototype Super Heavy booster burst into flames. The test was being conducted at the SpaceX facility in Boca Chica, Texas. It was supposed to be a preview of what the actual launch looks like, but unfortunately, the boosters were seen covered by a large blaze, followed by an explosion that sent smoke and debris flying off. As always, Musk posed on Twitter as if it was all a part of his grand plan, but he later realized that he was not fooling anyone. He deleted that tweet and replaced it with calling the test actually not good. He also mentioned that his team is currently assessing the damage and working to fix the problem. Next, in related news, how serious is Russia about leaving the ISS? It was only a matter of time that the Russian invasion of Ukraine would leave aftershocks on almost every part of the field in the world. After a tug of war in sports, trading, food, and even banking, now comes space. Rumors have been circulating recently about Russia leaving the International Space Station. So what could this mean for space exploration? Russia has threatened to pull out of the ISS consortium after 2024. While the announcement seems like they will definitely go ahead with it, the scientific community is divided over how seriously they should take this threat. According to John Logsdon, a policy analyst and a space historian at George Washington University, Russia might be pulling its financial and personal resources out of the ISS in an attempt to form its independent space station. He went on to say that based on Russia's past comments and difficult history, the ISS consortium had been working on contingency plans for years to tackle such a setback. But NASA Administrator Bill Nelson had stated that they have not yet received a formal withdrawal notice, so it's only a matter of time before Russia would give a final verdict on this matter. Up next, we have new Japanese space habitats defy gravity. People say that Japan is ahead of its time in almost every aspect. Though there are countless ideas of a potential space habitat for possible future space travels, Japanese researchers have made each of them look like a school science project. According to a report by a Japanese newspaper, researchers at Kyoto University have joined forces with contractor Kojima Corporation to build a gravity-defying habitat. This habitat will come along with its own transportation system for Moon and Mars expeditions. The director of the SIC, Human Spaceology Center of Kyoto University, stated that a plan for such a viable space habitat is currently not present in any country's space development plans. They elaborated that as the idea of living in space becomes more realistic, we've to work around gravity because it's absolutely essential. Japanese researchers stated that their commitments to achieving these plans would be useful for humanity. And finally, SpaceX shatters its annual launch record. We're only halfway through the year, and SpaceX has already broken its annual launch record. Elon Musk's private space company has completed its 32nd successful launch of the year, beating the figure of 31 in 2021. The company has managed to send 46 Starlink satellites to low Earth using its Falcon 9 reusable rocket. SpaceX has already changed the game with its reusable launch technology, and now Musk has his eyes set on space exploration missions and later on human colonization. Founded in 2022, Elon Musk's SpaceX Starlink constellation has a clear-cut aim of providing high-speed broadband internet to the entire world with the help of a network of 42,000 satellites. And that's a wrap for this video. Would you ever mind living in space one day? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. And we'll see you in the next one.